So when I started with Photoshop, one of my biggest challenges was following closely with my instructor. I know at some points I could, but at other times I couldn't. And one of the problems was because their screen or his screen or whoever's screen the person was using was different from the screen that I had. And that made it a little tough to follow with them. Alright. So before we do anything in Photoshop, I would like us to set up our screen so that we are all looking at the same screen in Photoshop. And without much ado, guys, let's get straight into the video. So I'm going to open Photoshop. If you open Photoshop, this is the very first thing you are going to be greeted with all the time. That is your welcome page. Yeah, pretty normal. Yours can look a little different. Some of them can have some welcome screen here from Photoshop, but mine doesn't have that. It used to. I've used a lot of version where it had, but there is this you are seeing here. This thumbnails you are seeing here are past projects that I've just worked on. You can just open by just clicking them like so, and then it will open whichever project that you are working on. It's pretty cool if you want to go to something that you're already doing. These two things you see here will change the viewing mode. So this one is thumbnail. This will give a list. But then why on earth would you want to have it like this? You know, better to have it this way so that you get a reference. Then you have the menu here, which you don't want to be touching for the moment. And then the main thing we'll be getting to most of the time is either open or create new. If you should click on open like so, what is going to happen is that it's going to allow you to browse through all possible files on your PC and eventually open them. That is if you want to open them. So you could have so many files. And yeah, if you're wondering the kind of files you can open, there are lots of them. I don't even know some of them, but then there are lots of them. I know Photoshop can open a lot of things. Yeah. But I'm not going to open anything. The one that you tend to be using much more often is going to be the create new. And if you click on create new like so, it's going to open a small dialog box. It's going to open a box like so, where you have lots of presets. Photoshop wants you to get started as quickly as possible, so Adobe wants you to do that. So they have lots of presets down for you, and you can see we have photo, we have print, we have illustration, web, mobile, film and video. Yeah, film and video on Photoshop. And yeah, depending on what you are going to be doing, you choose the one that will best suit you. If you come to print, for instance, if I select legal, tabloid or whatever, I realize that everything here keeps changing. If I go to art and illustration, things are changing. Print, things are changing. And here we have the width. You can choose whether you want it in inches, centimeters, pixels, or what. I'll use pixels. I'm not going to use print actually. And you can choose the orientation, whether you want it in portrait or landscape. You can choose the artboard, the resolution, and then even the color mode if you want CMYK, grayscale, or whichever. That is whichever one you are working with. And one thing you have to know is that all the settings that you have here can be changed even if you have started working. So this matters, alright, but it doesn't matter too much. And if you know you're going to be doing with something that is going to be printed, for instance, you see print, all of them have a resolution of 300 pixels per inch. That is the standard actually. And so if you know you're going to work with something that's going to be printed, you will probably have your settings that way. But you're going to look at something that is going to be looked on from screens a lot, so you have to choose a resolution of 72 pixels per inch. So if you go to web, you realize this is 72. If you go to mobile, 72. If you go to photo, yeah, it has its own thing. Don't go there. Alright, so I'm going to just choose web, and then I'll just put any figure there. So 1080 by 1080 like so, and I'll uncheck this artboard thing. It freaks me out. I don't like it. I want my work to be that neat. I'm not in Illustrator. And then I'll click create, and immediately, yes, I get a very nice canvas. So this is 1080 by 1080. I can see the dimensions at the bottom corner here. If you can see, you see 1080 pixels by 1080 pixels, and then 72 pixels per inch. All right, so let's go straight into setting and making our screens look the same. And the first thing we want to do is we want to come all the way to the top right corner here. Yeah, I mean the top right corner here. As you can see, we have the magnifier icon here, but you also have a workspace icon looking like this, and the one to the right here. If you click on it, you can see the various workspaces. Let's all click on essentials like so, and yeah, things have changed, but they haven't changed. I'll click on it again, and then let's click on reset essentials. So if you didn't have Photoshop freshly installed, you might already have a workspace, so it will look different. But for us to all be on the same page, it's good that we go to reset essentials and all have something. So we are all going to start from this place, and then we are going to move things together. All right, so what we have here are various panels. We have the color swatches, gradients, patterns, and you can see the lens library adjustment. We have the layers panel, channels panel, a whole lot of the panels. Some of them, like everyone, is important, but some of them for me, depending on what you are going to be doing and then how you're going to set up your space. Some of the panels are not really important, or they are important, but then some of them you don't want to have them here. Okay, you want to have them somewhere. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to learn how to move and close some of them. So for instance, if I want to take away this libraries panel here, I'll just click on the name, the libraries, click on it and move it. I mean, move it by dragging it away, and you can see it as I've moved it. If I want to bring it back, I'll just click on the name again, libraries, and drag it back in there, and then it snaps back. So let's take it out from here like so, and you see you get some small X button at the top right corner. You can just click on it and then you close that particular panel. We have the adjustment here like so. I'll just take that one also out like so quickly, and I will close it. Awesome, sweet. And then I'll take the next one, which is the lens panel. I'll take it out and then I will close it, making things easier. But then what if you want to bring a panel? All right, what you can do is you can go to Windows, and then you have all the panels here listed in alphabetical order, so it will be easier to find them. And also you also have workspaces here, so you can choose the workspace that you are dealing with. And then so let's the things that are going, let's bring this here, or let us bring some of the things that I think are very helpful here. So the first one that we are going to bring is the actions panel here, and you see it comes under there. So this is the history, so that you can, if you want to undo something, you can just click and go back and it will undo. And we have actions, it's a list of actions here, some of the actions for you. That's one important thing. You can keep it on the side. When you have something on this narrow column here, it's there, but then it's collapsed. So when you need it and you just click on it, it expands, you use it, and then you can close it back. Pretty cool, all right? And the next thing we are going to have is we're going to have the character panel here, which is going to be where we have our alphabet. So you can see if you have any text, you can just change the text quickly with these settings here. And then you can also, the paragraph one, you can adjust the alignment and indentation and everything. And it's very clean. I use this a lot, so I usually have it here. And then what we are also going to have next is going to be our layers panel is still there, so we don't have to bring it. We're going to have our navigator. So the navigator will let you see the part of the screen. Mostly they bring it here, but I like to keep my navigator big, so I bring my navigator here, and then I will obviously expand here a little. So the navigator is letting you see your screen. Right now you don't see anything happening, but let me show you something. What if I just took my shape tool here, I pressed U on my keyboard, and I just draw anything like so and fill it with yellow. You can see this is my navigator, it's showing my screen. Alright, so if I can just zoom in or zoom out, and I can just take, if I over zoom in like so, I can just take my navigator and I can move. I really love this. It helps me navigate quickly. Or you can, when we get there, we'll look at how to move as well, navigating our way. So I like to have my navigator, and I like to keep it here because I can just switch between this and that, and then I'm good. What I don't like to have is my patterns, so I'll take my patterns out here. It's not something I'll be using often. And even gradients, let's leave that for the meantime. I also go down again, and then I'll bring my paragraph. It's already there, so I have my properties. Yeah, properties very important. I keep properties here, Okay, no, not there. I mean underneath here. Awesome. I keep my properties here because I can use that to adjust a lot of things. Like I can adjust this, I can adjust the color, I can adjust for everything, right? So I keep my properties here neatly like so, and I can do all my adjustments from there. And then I keep going down, and yeah, so this is pretty much it for the things that we are going to set up our space so that we can use it. What people will do is they can just create a new workspace and save it. So I usually have my own save to Sarfo Carbell, and then you can see that yeah, just the same things are just what I've been using for all my editing and everything. Simple and neat as this. Now let's look at something. If you have this workspace, you better get accustomed to some of the things. The very first thing you have to know is that we have our canvas, like so. This is the canvas. You can see our canvas. This is where all the action is happening. Our canvas like so, and then related to our canvas is this right here, where is our layers. You can see it has the name here, layers panel. So whatever you see on the canvas here is on the layers here. So if I should hide this, you see everything here is where also on the canvas, and then that is it. I can hide it, but it's still here, but then it hasn't appeared on the canvas only because I'm hiding it. And then so this is number one. This is our canvas. Our layers panel, very important place. So this is the place you'll be working on the most, having your mouse on the most. Then you have this as well. So number three, we have our toolbar here. Mostly you find it like so, but I tend to prefer it expanded. So you can just click on this small right facing arrows here, and then it expands this way. And then we have a whole lot of tools. We'll get to them as time goes on. And then mostly I tend to use shortcuts for this. So instead of pressing come to click brush here, I can just press B anywhere, and then it gives it to me quickly, so I don't have to come click and come back. So with time you get to use the shortcut. I know, because first I wasn't using shortcuts. I just press V, I press B, J, I press J, I press W, and then I press M, and I'm just going around because it's subconscious and very important. And after that is also what we have here, our menu bar. Very lovely place with so many options for each of them, and we'll have some explainer videos so that you get to know what some of these things do, and some of them you get to know as we work, and then you see them. And then so that's number 4, and number 5 we have our options bar here. So the options bar gives us various options depending on the tools that you have selected. So if I have, for instance, if I have this one, my move tool here selected, you can see the options that are available. That should change if I select my shape tool here. Realize that I have different options, and that should also change if I select my gradient tool here, as well as change if I select my selection tool here, or my marquee tool here, or is it marquee? Let me see the name again. Yeah, my marquee tool. And now those times Photoshop didn't have any explainers, but now Photoshop has some little you can see this thing here explaining to you what that tool does. So if you hover on the tool, it gives you that. So the main thing is the canvas, very important, followed by your layers panel here, your toolbar, which you use shortcuts as time goes on, your menu, and then your options. Now that we have our page and our screens looking the same, we can be ready to take on something more heavy. And without much ado, guys, I'm going to catch you in the very next video. But wait, drop a like and make sure you subscribe.